So if you watch my channel and you don't know what Poppy Playtime is or whatever, I'm pretty sure more strangers who come across this video, they're gonna know what I'm talking about. Brief summary: Poppy Playtime is an indie mascot horror game that came out a few years ago. Um, Basically, it's about this company who makes toys. It's kind of like some Walt Disney type stuff, but it's not like a cartoon characters or amusement parks. But somebody got the bright idea to make these toys into these living things to cut down on costs. And instead of hiring human beings, they can just get these toys to do the labor. But everything went haywire. Okay, the rest you can look up other videos and gameplay and Wikipedia, all that stuff is at your disposal. Let's get to it. So I've seen a lot of theories about the game because I really love the game. It's very interesting. Chapter 4 just came out. Chapter 4 was cool. We got a little more lore. Some stuff was obvious. The return of our big blue boy Huggy Wuggy. He back. A lot of people like that. I like that too. But the theories that I've seen, I'm not saying I'm originating. I'm just saying I haven't seen it. Maybe you too have thought this. Maybe you just don't make videos, or maybe you was talking with your friends. But here's what I personally think. I think the events of Poppy Playtime are all a dream. Now, what I mean is, I'm not saying the Bigger Bodies initiative and them, killing orphans and turning them, taking their harvesting their organs and making them into toys. I'm not saying that is a dream. I'm saying us going back to where we used to work 10 years later and encountering all the things that we're encountering. I think that's a dream. I think that's why it's broken down into chapters. I think it's different nightmares that our player is having. Like chapter 1, you're like, oh man, God. Maybe a couple weeks later, you live in your life. Chapter 2, oh my God, geez, why do I keep thinking about that place? I ain't worked there in 10 years. The reason that I think that, I'm gonna break it down kind of like this. So we don't know our character's name. We don't even know our character's gender. We don't know what our character looks like. But it's said that we used to work there. For a long time, we didn't know what our role was. But people have theorized, and it may be stated, I'm not sure, that we are the head of, or we were the head of production at Playtime Co. Okay, which makes sense because a lot of people knew us, right? Poppy knew us. Mommy Longlegs knew us. That cardboard cutout of Bubba Finn, he knew us. He remembered us. If we were just a peon, or if we were just somebody who mopped floors, or just a regular production worker, they wouldn't have known us. Unless we were just so charismatic and just talked to everybody, they wouldn't have known us. So it makes sense that we were some head of a department. We're like not as high up as like Stella and Harley and Lathe Pierre and them, but we was pretty high up there. Okay. So a couple of things that make me think it's a dream is this. One, how did they get that tape and that letter to us? Did they mail it to us? Because think about it. What mail carrier is going to an abandoned building? Playtime Co. shut down years ago. So who is going there picking up mail? What mail carrier? That wouldn't even be on a mail carrier's route. So how would they know to go there and get that package? Did they send it to us personally? Did they come to our house? Did they go to the post office? How did they send it to us? What did they use to send it to us? That right there just doesn't make sense to me. How did they know where we live? Now maybe we've lived in the same place for 10 years. That's not uncommon at all, and that's nothing wrong with that. But how did they know whoever sent it? We think it's Poppy, but I don't know who it is. Another thing that don't make sense is we go there, right? We go there, we encounter Huggy. We run from him, we pull the little box down, he falls, falls 18,000 feet to what we thought was his death, but we see it's not, Then in chapter 2, we eventually, we open Poppy's case in chapter 1. Then in chapter 2, she tells us, hey, you gotta get out of here. There's a code, there's a train that has a code, and I know the code, so I'm gonna give it to you. Why was she, Why would, I'm assuming, she tell us to come here? Because she's the voice that we keep hearing in our imagination and all that, in these little dream sequences. Why would she tell us to come here, to then hurry us right out? Like, you got to get out of here. And then change her mind. So I don't know if it's different poppies. I don't know, right? So that's another thing that don't make sense to me. Why would she let us come here to then tell us to leave just off top like that? Then she acts like we're doing such a great thing to defeat the prototype, right? Like I said, you don't know who that is, you got to look it up. This ain't really like, I'm not gonna go too deep into the lore of it, right? But what are we doing that any of them toys can't do? I am one human being. I'm assuming I'm a male. I'm assuming I'm average height, average build. I'm assuming I'm middle aged. Because if he was the head of production, ain't a whole lot of 18, 19-year-olds the head of something, right? So he's probably in his, he probably was in his late or his early 30s. Let's say he was like 30. So 10 years later, let's say he's like 40, right? Or whoever this is like 40. 38, 39 at the youngest. No, he wasn't 18 doing all that, right? I'm a human being with a grab pack and all this stuff. What am I doing? Y'all are huge mutated things. What am I doing that y'all can't do? That's what doesn't make sense to me. So why is Poppy acting like we need you and to do all this? It just don't make sense. Another thing that makes me kind of tip me off of this dream is these little, you know when you die, it has all these little message things like you can't die yet. That's probably just us, waking up from the dream or whatever, right? But I think they kind of did tell it in chapter 3. In chapter 3, when you go in that room where you meet the nightmare version of Huggy, right? The voice on the TV says, if you just so happen to come back years later, whatever he said, feeling bad for what you've done or whatever, that right there was the clue. I think we suppressed, we were involved in something. Maybe we didn't do anything, but we let some stuff slide or we didn't speak up when we were supposed to. And that kind of messes with us years later. Maybe we go to therapy for it. Maybe we just suppressed it and it's coming out in our nightmares and stuff like that, and we're having these constant nightmares about it because we can't run from it any longer, and that really right there is what kind of tipped me off to think like, okay, this probably, I'm telling you, they may not take this direction. Who knows? Maybe nobody else see this video. I don't know if anybody at Mob Entertainment, Mob Games, whatever, gonna see this, go, shit, that's where we was going with it. We can't do that now. I don't know. It's just what it makes sense to me, because I don't understand. The best video games, the best movies, TV shows, they all have plot holes all through them. There's nothing that's just perfect that you can't poke a hole in, like, this don't make sense. But it's just the fact of, how did they get this letter and tape to us? How do they know our name? And why would you go back? Why in the world? That's how you know. I'm gonna say this. We know our protagonist is white. I don't know too many Mexicans, Asians, and I damn sure know ain't no black folk. Like, imagine a black person getting a letter or something from a job they used to have that shut down 10 years ago, and you knew some foul shit was going on. You like, was this a check? Saying, this staff disappeared 10 years ago. I don't give a fuck. Shit, they fired me or whatever. Kobe, throw that shit in the trash. You ain't going back to that. So I don't know. To me, it just all seems like a dream sequence. And I think that when we wake up from this dream, we're going to see that letter, and based off our nightmares, we're going to be like, no, I'm not going nowhere. Because, like I said, people do what they do, but I don't see why you'd go back to an abandoned where. Because what's the purpose of bringing us there? Was our purpose there to see what's going on, to leave, and then what? Go tell the National Guard, the news? Who like to what, nuke the place? If that's the case, why didn't they just send it to they know our address? They got a letter to us. Send it to the police or somebody. Why you? What am I gonna do? Just a human being with a damn grab pack, you know? I don't know. Like I said, I watch a lot of theories. A lot of theories make a lot of sense to me. It's fun to talk about stuff, especially when it's a chapter-based thing. You want the next chapter to come out. Let me say this real quick for chapter 5. Since Huggy's back, I want a few things. This is what I don't want them to do with Huggy, all right? Let me see if y'all agree in the comments. I've heard a lot of people say that Huggy is our ally now. And he was banging on the door because he was warning us.
What kind of shit is that?
No, I don't want Huggy to be our ally. I don't want them to do a Pianosaurus on him and bring him back only to kill him off in 30 minutes, right? Or 2 minutes or whatever. I don't want them to bring him back to for us to just run from him and then we never see him again, right? I want Huggy Wuggy. If we run from him, I want him to be on our ass like Catnap was supposed to be in chapter 3. He was always like, oh, he stalks every corner, every shadow. That's how I want Huggy to be. Every time we turn a corner, he right there and we gotta run. I want Huggy Wuggy to be on our ass relentlessly. Don't give up no bullshit. Like that's what I want. That's sincerely what I want. I want Huggy Wuggy to be a threat for real, just like he was when we first saw him. But that's just a little tidbit or whatever. That's kind of what I want for chapter 5. But let me know what y'all think. Have you heard people say this? Have you talked about it amongst your friends? I personally think it's just all a dream. I used to read Playtime magazine. You know, Huggy Wuggy and Kissy Missy in the limousine. I don't know. But I don't know. But it just don't seem like something that would happen. I think we just feel guilty about the things that we saw and it just manifests in our nightmare. We can't get rid of it. And each chapter is just a different day, a different nightmare. Kind of like that game, Catherine. You know what I mean? If you ever seen that game, check it out. You go to sleep, you have a nightmare, you got to survive it and wake up. So, all right. That's enough yapping for me. Y'all want us to do, comment. Let me know what y'all think. Go on and like, go on and subscribe if you haven't. Watch my other videos. What you still doing here? Get out of here.